What are 10 things that you notice about Jakarta in 4 days here? I'm joined by my Indonesian American homie from New York.
Let's make that a thing. Indonesia. Let's make that.
Oliver Cross.
What's up, bro?
Good to see you, bro.
Long time, man.
You were in New York. You were in a few of our videos. You moved out here.
Yeah, I moved here about 2 years ago, and I'm happy to be here.
Point number one, man. Let's just get into it. The malls are insane. We're in Astor Mall right now. This is considered one of the newer, most trendy top 3, right?
For sure.
But there's so many malls, and there's such a central part of life. How do you explain it?
So mall culture is very much a thing here in Jakarta, as it is in a lot of Southeast Asian countries, right? So anytime that we want to meet somewhere, oftentimes it's at a mall, at a restaurant, at a mall, because it's not exactly a walking city in the way that New York is. In New York, you could just take a subway, or in Singapore, you could take an MRT and just walk anywhere and meet somewhere. Here, it's very much not walking accessible. So we'll just say, hey, I'll meet you at Ashta. Hey, I'll meet you at Plaza Indonesia at whatever time. So pretty much mall culture is very much still a thing.
And I noticed that they keep building malls.
Yeah.
Like there's one a multi-billion-dollar project like every year.
You would think that it would be following the West, where the malls in the West are already dying and everything's going online. Here we have a healthy mix of both.
Right.
And mall culture is still very much a thing. I mean, this is really the only place I get my steps in every day.
I would say this. There's more crazy rich Asians imagery that I've seen here in Jakarta than any other Asian country, but all Asian countries have had a bit of it, at least. Moving on to point number 2, because you're talking about it's not a walking culture, it's definitely a scooter culture, as much of Southeast Asia is.
Yeah.
But I noticed one thing about the Gojeks or the Grabs here, when you take them, they make you wear a helmet.
Yeah. Well, in some countries, depending on the country, you know, they may be more lax. Here, it's encouraged that you wear a helmet because you've seen the traffic, right? You've seen the roads. It's crazy out there. And if you are unlucky enough to be caught on a big road, sometimes they have police there that are stationed, and they may give you a ticket for not wearing a helmet.
Point number 3, we got to switch to just imagery that I saw when I got out of the airport. What's the airport called again? Sukarno Airport. I noticed that everybody was eating fried chicken with rice. And I'm talking about McDonald's had fried chicken, KFC had fried chicken, obviously, Texas chicken. There was local Indonesian chains. Everybody was eating some version, whether it was Indo fried chicken or Western fried chicken with the batter with rice, right? Sambal and sugar.
So fried chicken, we got 2 different variants here in Indonesia. We have the traditional Indonesian ayam goreng, which is not as battered as the Western variation like in KFC. Now, I will say though, KFC here in Southeast Asia, Indonesia specifically, way better than the KFCs in America. And even in McDonald's, like you were saying, people ordered fried chicken there more than they ordered burgers. It's kind of intense.
This is an ayam, like ayam is chicken, right?
Ayam.
This is an ayam-driven society.
Yes, for sure.
And also ayam, they do eat beef here as well, but beef is much more expensive in Southeast Asia, period, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Point number 4, do you agree that it's more multi-religious than people think?
Yeah, for sure. So Indonesia is actually the most populous Muslim country in the entire world. But that doesn't mean that everyone here is Muslim. I believe it's like 85% Muslim, and currently they're celebrating Ramadan. We're in the middle of Ramadan, but I identify as Christian, and there are multiple other religions that are recognized here. So if you are practicing Catholic or Christian or Buddhist or Hindu, they also recognize, and there are places for worship for you guys as well.
We got to talk about the traffic, because the traffic sort of relates back to the non-walking, but it also relates back to the scooters, where the traffic probably has total gridlock. And maybe the road system wasn't the best designed. So you're just making like roundabout loop-de-loops like everywhere.
Oh, well, in the city of Jakarta, you know, it goes back to when we were colonized by the Dutch. They didn't exactly do the best job when it came to feature infrastructure here in Jakarta. So everything, especially during rush hour, is gridlock. And the best way to get around is on those Gojeks and the scooters. And Jakarta, if I'm not mistaken, is ranked as one of the worst traffic in the world. So riding around in scooter will save you a lot of time, but if it rains, so you're stuck in traffic for hours.
I actually noticed some of the Gojek or the Grab drivers have a little umbrella for their phone GPS.
Yeah, it's cute.
Point number 6, man. People here, and I mean this because everybody says this about every country they go to, people here are super friendly and super chill. Like they might be more friendly here. Listen, guys, everywhere in Southeast Asia is more friendly than East Asia. But even of the places I've been, this number 1 or number 2, man.
Yeah, so Indonesia prides itself on being incredibly hospitable. The Indonesian people value kindness and giving, and we're not exactly harsh people. Sometimes I like to say that we're kind to a fault, you know, not that I'm not saying that people don't stand up for themselves, but oftentimes I've seen foreigners specifically come to this country and take advantage of the kindness of the Indonesian people.
Right. So what do you think? Is that a cultural thing? Was it always that way? Is it why are people here so kind and welcoming? And yeah, they just like I said, it might be a 10 out of 10 relative to other places. Like, not that any place can ever, but I had less bad interactions here than even in Bangkok, and Bangkok is famous for being hospitable.
For sure. I think it's just a cultural thing. Like, Indonesians across all our islands, the one thing we have in common is that generally we love people. We love treating people with respect and kindness. Even if it's not reciprocated, it's just a cultural.
Right. All right. Point number 7, the money situation is confusing at first, right? Because when people say 50, they actually mean 50,000. And if you're American, you're trying to calculate in your head because everything is divided by 15?
16,000.
But 6 divided by 60,000.
Yeah.
So can you explain the money system for a little bit for people who are like, I have no idea. They don't know what kind of money you guys are using.
So our currency is called rupiah, and it's changed throughout the years through different presidencies and stuff like that. But generally, $1 American equates to about 16,000 Indonesian rupiah. Now, 16,000 can buy you a bunch of street food. It can't really buy you much in the way of luxury things, but for sure, the cost of living in Indonesia is significantly lower than New York.
Right. Point number 8, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about, the labor arbitrage, in the sense of like, I guess labor here, of course, if you want to open up a restaurant or a business here, is much lower than in the West, right? Like, yeah, it's like 5 times, maybe more?
Maybe it might be more. I don't know the exact numbers, but for example, let's talk about editors. That's the thing that you probably would know. They're hella expensive in New York, but for a video editor for a YouTube video, for example, could cost you a couple $100 in New York. It'll cost you like a quarter of that, so the same quality and maybe even better here.
Right, but for a retail worker, it might even cost you a tenth of what America costs.
So I'm sure there are some retail workers that are earning only about $200 a month. And actually, if you're living in the outskirts of town, or if you're living in the rural areas, the kampungs as we call it, then that's actually a good income.
Right. Number 9, back to sweet drinks. Sugar is a huge thing here, right? Like, people like donuts.
Yes.
They like, kopi, kendal, just a lot of liquid sugar, right?
Indonesia is very, very proud of their desserts, of their sugars, of all our cuisine, not just the sugar, right? It's the fried.
And Indonesian food is delicious, by the way, packed with flavor.
Yeah.
But it is heavy on some things, right?
For sure. I mean, CNN has ranked us top 2, top 3 most delicious foods in the world multiple years in a row. So
I would say easily Indonesian is top 3 most underrated cuisines in the world.
For sure. And I'm gonna quote one of your videos. It's Asia's best kept secret.
It is. Number 10, what do you think about the street food scene? Because you took me to go, and I'm gonna pop up the photo right here, to get some roasted ox tongues, Indonesian style.
Yeah, so that specific one's called gentong mas. Very, very, very popular amongst people of all socioeconomic backgrounds. Now, street food is absolutely delicious. It's the backbone of Indonesian cuisine, and there's a healthy combination of both street food as well as nice, I guess, high luxury eats, I guess.
So right. But I guess the street food side, people would expect it, but they still don't know what people are serving. But obviously, the high-end malls is the aspect that they may not think that Jakarta even has.
For sure. And a lot of people sleep on Jakarta, dismissing it as a third world country. But the truth is, we are advancing at a significantly faster rate than people are giving us credit for.
Right. It's slated to be the 4th largest economy by 2050, and you guys have already had the 4th largest population
In the world, yeah, for sure.
So the economy is going to catch up with the population.
For sure.
Number 11, you just referenced this. Let's talk about how the nightlife is elite and unexpectedly high end.
Yes. So if you guys like to go out, sociable creatures, like, we have some of the biggest nightclubs, not just in Indonesia, but all over Southeast Asia and Asia. I believe the largest nightclub in Asia is here in Jakarta. Don't quote me on that one, but I'm pretty sure that is the stat.
I guess people would be shocked to see things that are more common in Shanghai or Dubai or like Tokyo or Singapore.
Right.
They're here, but people wouldn't. Maybe the global or at least Western Anglosphere perception would totally not be that.
Of course, because the stereotype is that any country in this part of the world are generally run-down, third world countries, with the exception of Singapore, right? But the truth is, there's so much more to see, so much more to experience, but with regards to higher end lifestyle than my lifestyle here significantly trumps my lifestyle in New York.
Right. I guess my last point, and there's so many that we can get to, but we just got to wrap up this video, is I guess just like, there's a lot of just business going down here in Jakarta, right? Like, I don't mean, man, there might be the most here in terms of like, that I've seen. Like, I can see why your guys' economy is booming. Do you think a lot of Indo-Americans like yourself are coming back and taking a look, looking to relocate? Because you've actually lived here on and off throughout your life, right?
It all depends. Now, I will say that there is so much opportunities for all Indo-Americans to come back here, as I'm experiencing myself. But going back to a lot of Indo-Americans who choose to stay in America, it's also because implanted into their heads. Even here, people always ask me, why did you leave New York to come to Jakarta? People don't realize how overrated, how expensive places like New York can be when comparison.
And by the way, you were born and raised in. Tell them what PS you went to.
I went to PS 69.
You're not just saying that as a transplant living there. You're like born and raised.
Raised in Queens, New York, bro. Flushing, New York.
So I guess like, to sum up your experience, and just, you want to tell everybody on the channel, should they come check it out? Because a lot of people, they do skip Jakarta on there, even when they're Southeast Asia hopping. Or maybe they only come to Bali.
Yeah, that's true. So many times people skip over Jakarta, they go straight to Bali, and even not realizing that Bali is part of Indonesia. But if you truly want to see new experiences and new opportunities, like Bangkok and Singapore, that's already oversaturated. Everybody and their mothers are already going there. But do you want to be pleasantly surprised and experience something that you've never experienced before? I highly recommend that you come to Jakarta.
And I know you are showing off Jakarta always on your IG.
For sure, man.
Because you have a career as both a professional entertainer in the entertainment industry here, but primarily also doing a lot of influencing.
Yes, lots of influencing. And we're trying to put the narrative, because Indonesia, specifically Jakarta, we're not third world country people. We have a lot of advancements. We have a brand new MRT that is significantly better than the MTA in New York City. And hey man, life is good out here.
Man, you just take us out and just tell us something in Bahasa. What's one phrase that people should know?
Minggir lu miskin. Sampai jumpa lagi.
What's one phrase that people should learn? Because a lot of people don't know anything about Bahasa, even though it's a huge rate.
Yeah, it's actually one of the most spoken languages in the entire world. But anyways, so I'm gonna teach you guys how to say, hi, my name is. Hello, apa kabar? Nama saya Oliver. So I just said, hi, how are you? My name is Oliver. So let's see you try.
Oh man. Apa kabar? Hello, apa kabar?
Nama saya David.
Nama saya David.
There you go, try it one more time.
Hello, apa kabar? Nama saya David.
Hey, bye.
Hey, from doing YouTube videos in Queens, Maui, and Jakarta.
Let's go, dude.
Hey, if you guys are in Jakarta, hit this guy up on Instagram. And dude, it was dope to come here. You took me to the gym. We met Bobby Sukutra. Saw everything's going on right here. Jakarta is dope, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you guys know about Jakarta? What do you guys want to know about Indonesia? Follow this guy right here. Until next time, we out. Peace.